got a blank space where my mind should be. I got a Cliff Bar and a whole green tea. How's everyone doing, folks? We're a little bit late with the episode this week, which is a sign that I've been having myself pretty good week. No jokes. Actually having a horrible week, and that's the theme of today's episode, folks. Let's be honest with ourselves. You know, people are always saying like, "Oh, listen to your podcast, pretty concerning. Are you good?" And I say, "Yeah." Generally, lie. Obviously, what am I gonna do? Say no? Then I just have them hanging over their head. I got my own problems. I need to sort out. We go through them in order. I got a cold sore, or I think I got a cold sore. It might just be a pimple or something. But oh god, is it annoying? It's just this hard object on the bottom side of my lip. I guess the cold sore though is the least of my worries. Let's get into it. Cracking a beer. My only beer I have in my entire home. It's a Sierra Nevada. Here's a little thing. Here's a little thing. Family owned, operated, and argued over. I love how they try to sound kitschy. They're like a giant company at this point. Family owned, operated, argue over. Two frat boys on the golf course hitting each other with their clubs because they drank too many of the fucking family beer. Well, what happened here? Oh, I just got Venmo'd $15. If you want to find out why, you'll have to go on my Venmo page. It is public. It is public, folks. I got derailed. I shouldn't leave my phone up, but I had a thing on my phone that's only on my phone. I didn't want to go through the effort of getting it on my computer. I'm so late with this episode anyway. I'm recording. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun with this episode, guys. Most importantly, we're going to be honest with ourselves. Now, one time I had a friend of mine, a loose acquaintance. She's not my best friend or anything. She said that she broke up with a guy. Well, she went on a few dates with a guy and he put the kibosh on things. And instead of, just saying, "I wish you the best," or whatever the fuck you say, you're all full of shit anyway. You don't care. But whatever you say, he said, "And I recommend that you listen to this podcast on dating." Now, first of all, it is rude to recommend a podcast it doesn't matter what the subject is. It doesn't matter how well you know the person. If you recommend a podcast to anyone at any time, you're a piece of shit. Unless it's mine, of course. You can recommend mine. Go around, like, subscribe, whatever. But to break up with someone, not a breakup. They weren't like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, but to put the kibosh on something and then say, "Oh, by the way, please do this as homework." I think that there's problems with you that could be healed through the magic of podcast. So recommend her a dating podcast. Now, see, this is where, and the men have privilege. Male privilege is great. Like, I can walk down the street. I don't have to worry about getting raped. This is where females have privilege, and unfortunately, she did not use it effectively. If I were a woman, a marginalized member of society, and I went on a few dates with a guy, and he said, "No, I don't want to continue dating you, but hey, you can listen to a podcast, and I think that will fix whatever's wrong with you," I would just spit in his face with no repercussions. I would be able to get away with that. Unfortunately, if the same thing happened to me and I recommended a podcast face-to-face, well, so why don't you break up over text? Like, don't meet face-to-face after, 3 dates and break up. I would spit in his face. But she's wasting the privilege. She walks down the street. She has to be afraid of getting assaulted. And she doesn't even spit in the guy's face when he does something truly horrible. Like, you got to take the good with the bad. You can't just take the bad and not use the good. Like, I don't spit in girls' faces when they make me upset. And I don't feel like I'm going to get assaulted when I walk down the street. Most of the time. Ran into a little bit of an issue this week. Hey, I'm running into issues over here. Faithful listeners of the podcast will know that I was a loving, contributing member of the North Shore Roast Beef Facebook group. What you may have not known, that I may have not talked about, is that I was once ejected from the group. That's true, I was once ejected from the group because I posted a hilarious video where I did my beloved character, Mark from Charlestown. And in the video, I had a little joke where Mark said, "I'm wearing my shirt that I stole from Target. Gotta steal from Target. Black Lives Matter." And, this was just a silly joke on how white people loot. Clearly implied that this character was probably going to steal from Target no matter what, and now he's co-opting social justice like the pseudo-racist Massachusetts liberal that he might be. Now, unfortunately, they in the group has like pre-approval on and stuff like that. So the admin has to watch the video before they can approve it. So he watched the video. He thought it was fine, but he has all these like other mods that moderate the group. And this one mod, this rogue mod, we're gonna call him Meatball. Meatball. His real name is Mark Vitagliano, but we're just gonna call him Meatball, to protect his identity. He commented on the video a little while after, 24 hours after it was posted, and he said, "Hey Kevin, do you care to explain what you mean by gotta steal from Target, Black Lives Matter?" And then I could just tell where it was going. I thought, oh, he's gonna get mad at the joke, even though, like, if he had 2 brain cells, he'd realize it wasn't even a joke on black people, it was a joke on white people. So I just said, "Get a life," which I think is an appropriate response, probably the optimal response for the situation. So he kicked me out of the group. Because I did not even realize he was a moderator at the time. I just thought he was some fucking squid. I mean, he is some fucking squid, but I guess he goes way back with the founder of the group, who I have no issue with. But, squid nonetheless. So, Meatball, then I find out secondhand from a friend that Meatball is grandstanding in the group. And we're going back to the beginning of July here. He said, "Yesterday, a video..." That's not a good voice. How should he... I don't even know what he looks like, let alone what he sounds. I've never even, I just know the thumbnail of his profile picture and his fucking dumbass name. Mark Vitagliano. Let's see. What kind of voice can I get? Should I just give him I guess I'll just try to give him like a North Shore Guido. "Yesterday, a video was posted by a kid who was trying to be funny. In the video, he said we gotta steal from Target, Black Lives Matter. We don't tolerate that kind of racist bullshit here. The video was taken down and the kid was kicked out. If you're part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you're just a blatant racist, you're an asshole." So, first of all, you can't be making a joke and be blatantly racist at the same time. That defies the definition of the word blatant. Shows a genius he knows. But clearly this is a man who, he has no control over anything else in his life, and he needs to somehow wield and lord his power of his status as the roast beef admin. Now, granted, some of you who've been following along with the whole roast beef drama probably know that it's a silly thing to get upset about, but people get upset. But this is different than the ball busting that's typical in this group. This is a guy literally trying to lay down the law and unironically be some sort of Martin Luther King reincarnation. So we came to a logical concept. The logical conclusion is that this is a married man whose marriage is completely falling apart. I mean, I think you don't need to be a genius to figure that out. If he were, tending to his wife, having sex regularly, there's no way that he would need to expel energy on anything of this nature. So, whatever. I appealed. It was chalked up to a misunderstanding. I get let back in the group. We have fun. I befriend all-time content creator, Mr. Roy Stella. Oh, he's great. He gets the worst sandwiches you could possibly imagine. They don't look good at all. He gets raw onions on every one, and he doesn't get any sauce, and then he applies his own Sweet Baby Ray's sauce, which is unanimously agreed upon to be the worst option for sauce. Roy is a next-level roast beef content creator. Everyone gets very upset, and some people who are in on the joke figure out that he's trolling. He is one of the most valued members of the group. So anyways, Roy invites me to the stupid group chat that he's in, where it's just a bunch of shit posting, and after a while, we realized that his videos aren't getting approved anymore, and it's because of that, that Meatball. The Meatball is not approving his videos. Meanwhile, I'm trying to send in things, and Meatball is commenting on mine with this, weird high school bully shit. First of all, this guy's, 40 years old, and I'm 26, and he's commenting on this, "Oh, fucking... what a nerd." I was like, you don't call person nerd. I call my friends nerds, to joke around, because, I'm a nerd. You don't call, to try to hurt someone by calling them a nerd as an adult in the year 2020, very strange. That's like calling someone a faggot. It's just, grow up, dude. Anyways, we get pretty frustrated with this Mark, guys, and I'm drunk. It's the middle of the night, so we're just going back and forth talking about how, his wife worked for Bear Stearns, and she hasn't fucked him since the 2008 financial crisis. Roy said, no, he hasn't been fucked since 9/11. I said, the towers went down, and she stopped. They wrecked a field in Pennsylvania, and he hasn't wrecked anything. We had a bunch of good jokes about him. And he said something about how his wife and him sleep in separate beds. It was fun. Turns out I didn't realize there was a shitload of people in this group. I thought it was just 5 people. He wasn't in it, but someone leaked the info to him of our hilarious jobs at Mr. Twatlio. So anyways, I woke up one morning to a message from him that said, "Want to tell me why you're stalking my page in a group chat?" Which I never even looked at his page. I don't even know what he looks like. So that's weird. So clearly something we said was correct, and he interpreted that to mean that we were stalking him. So he basically just admitted to us that his wife won't fuck him. That's bad strategy. Now anyways, he did the same thing to Roy, and he blocked me, so I couldn't respond. So I don't know what the point of asking me a question was. Roy did respond. He tried to apologize, and he said something like, "There's gonna be issues if you fucking talk about my family again." Just typical meatball stuff. And then he started calling Roy's work. Roy was at work. He called Roy's work to try to threaten him. Uh-oh. No, don't take too kindly to these threats. I thought the roast beef group was all fun. This guy clearly has a history of trying to make it way more serious. And the big problem is in the description of the group. If you join the group now and you check the description, there's a quote that says, "Thin beefs, thick skin, can't lose." Meatball. Meatball's the one who said that. So why would he have this quote attributed to him about having a thick skin if he's gonna, be just a little pussy at all times? Why would you do that, Meatball? Meatball, why you do that? So anyways, I've been having a rough quarantine. I don't take too kindly to being paranoid. So I tried to get a zip car and go to Walmart to buy anti-personnel devices. I was going to make another Mark from Charlestown video there. I thought it would be funny because, he could have all these fun lines like, "Hey, if you're a theater kid trying to protect yourself from bullies, you just take out the taser and you say, 'It's electrifying,' all this funny stuff. Take out the pepper spray, say like, 'Hey, what's cooking? You want some pepper?' And then I was going to spray myself in the face with pepper spray on camera just to, sell how funny this video would be. Anyways, whatever. Zipcar didn't work. They've been in shambles for most of the quarantine. My favorite Zipcar was replaced with a different Zipcar, and they just didn't fucking work. So whatever. Thankfully, I have a lovely lady friend who gave me her pepper spray. It looks like lipstick. So, if I take it out, people will just think I'm some kind of transsexual and not wielding a non-lethal weapon. But it seems to have simmered with Meatball, and haven't heard much from him. So hopefully it won't come to kill me. I think he was just trying to put the scare on us like a twat. But I have been deadbolting my door a little bit more often just in case. I found out my address is on white pages, so you could even look up my address if you, our listeners, wanted to come kill me. So that's fun. It's great. Also, I was playing a nice game of flag football the other day with an old friend from high school. He kind of went on different paths. I graduated from high school. He dropped out of our high school because, he was kicked out. He was caught smoking marijuana in the football field during the baseball field, actually, during the middle of the day. So he's kind of been on a different path. So I played some flag football with him and his gridiron gang. It was fun, but towards the end, accidentally, it was an accident. Short guy, very fast, short guy, going for the interception. The only time in the entire game where someone actually threw the ball to me. I was shocked. I wasn't even ready to catch it because I was surprised that someone was throwing me the ball. Threw me the ball, I went to catch it, and boom! Guy collided right into me going for the interception. Because he was so short, his shoulder went right into my gut. So I might be sitting on a broken rib. I've heard that if you go to the doctor and you have a broken rib, they just kind of tell you to keep off it anyway. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to keep off my torso, if I'm supposed to be sleeping on a wooden board or whatever, but I don't have health insurance, so I'm not spending the price of 3 automobiles for an x-ray. Not the best. Not the best. It hurts a lot. Yeah, I was going to tough out my possibly broken rib and go hiking yesterday with my friend, and we won't throw him under the bus because he's a comic. And he said, "I'll drive." I said, "That's great. If he didn't have a car, I would have rented one. Not a big deal. Not expensive if you rent a car and split it between 2 people. Pretty cheap. Pretty cheap." So he says, "By the way, we're going to stop in Manchester." Manchester. Manchester, that's a city in New Hampshire, for those of you who didn't know. It's about an hour away from Boston. "My car's an electric car," he said. "Got to stop in Manchester, fill it up." So I figured what he meant was that, he's got one of those, 300 miles is generally what I think they are, and he's just got to top it off so that way we can get to the mountain and back and, not run out of fuel, have to keep stopping, whatever. So we fill it up. We make it all the way to Manchester. We're at a random Whole Foods. We're filling up. And then he says, "I can't find a charging station near the mountain." And I was like, "Well, that's probably because it's a mountain. Like, not only do they not have electric car charging stations, there is no electricity at all. I don't know what he seemed to think that the mountain, like there was going to be a big sign in a giant parking lot that said like, "This is the mountain. Welcome to the mountain. Park your electric car." It's really just like a dirt road that you just pull your car over and then you kind of just go into the woods and, find the trail and eventually you're on the mountain. Worth noting, this man is also 10 years older than me, and he, for some reason, thought that there would be an electric car charging station at a random trailhead in the wilderness. Or electricity at all. Again, pretty surprising. So we ended up just driving up to Lake Winnipesaukee. We found another charging station, but it didn't, he only could do like a wall outlet, so it charged slow as shit. We just got some dinner, we got some drinks. My mood improved a lot once I had a drink or two, and then we drove back, and we had to stop twice to charge it, because apparently the place we were charging it at in Lake Winnipesaukee could not charge. So we stopped at this diner that had long been closed down. Long closed hours ago. And we were the only people in the parking lot. A cop came in to ask us if we were all right. Thankfully, it was a woman cop, less aggressive, and, we said we were charging our electric car, and she was on our way. So then we had to stop yet again at the Whole Foods in Manchester. Made it home very late, got no hiking done. Woke up this morning in not a great mood. Also, this great part of the week, I botched two interviews. One of them, I barely rolled out of bed. It was kind of early in the morning. I'm used to these interviews on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. So I've been taking that for granted. I got out, I'm a little tired, and then boom, this rib situation's really bothering me. But I don't know what to tell. Like, do I tell the guy, like, I'm sorry for the fact that I seem a little strained, I can hardly breathe because I think my rib is broken? What do I... So I just kind of ignored it and then just was unpleasant during the interview, and thankfully I got a nice message today saying they have decided not to move forward. Second one was, I aced the first round of the interview, but then we had a take-home coding challenge. Sat down to do it today, missed an important detail, fucked up the whole thing. I'm pretty sure that's it. That was my only shot. I missed a small detail. It all has to do with computers and shit. I'm not going to go into it. You won't even get it. Small detail. I missed a tiny detail. Cost me the whole thing. So I sent an email explaining that I missed a small detail, but, they're probably going to respond something like, well, we really want someone on our team who pays attention to the details. Like, who knows? Maybe they're forgiven. Maybe it'll work out, but I am not hopeful at all. So now I'm back down to, 0 job prospects. 0. I gotta start applying again. I'm sure this podcast where I talk about, buying anti-personnel weapons will help me with my job prospects. I need to get in shape. What really gave me a kick in the ass that I needed to get in shape was that I saw... Well, first of all, I was playing flag football, and from a few hours of doing little sprints across the field, I was sore for about 3 days. At a certain point, my quads and hip flexors were more sore than the area where I believe my rib has been broken. So that's a sign. But also, I checked my credit card bill, and I got charged by my gym. Got charged by the gym. Charged by the gym, folks. Now, my gym went out of business, so maybe they came back? First time I didn't get any emails about them being back. I got the credit card charge. I do miss going to the gym. I do miss kind of getting in shape. One thing I don't miss is sitting in the sauna and having closeted homosexuals twice my size try to solicit sex from me. Those of you who don't go to men's gyms, those of you who have never hung out in a sauna, perhaps don't know that this is like a common mating ritual for meatheads. Maybe Mark from the Meatball, from the group. Maybe that's what his deal is. He's a closeted homosexual, and, he's just stressed out that Boston Sports Club isn't open, so he can't go, fuck people in the... I don't even actually know where they have sex. Here's what happens. You sit down in a sauna. I weigh like 90 pounds. I sit down looking twinkish. A guy twice my size sits down next to me. He spreads his legs, does a slow man spread, kind of inching his way over to me. And then I notice he's intently making eye contact with me. Very intently, very aggressive, with a scowl on his face, but also a twinkle of lust in his eye. And you have that weird feeling in your neck where, like, someone's, like, trying to force eye contact, but then you realize, like, I don't want to look at that guy because he looks intimidating, but you're just cock your fucking neck over. It's so painful. I'm getting a sore neck trying to sit in a sauna and unwind and relax. I guess these guys are so deep that they can't even, like, secretly join Grindr, because, like, the act of downloading an app onto their phone itself would still be like an admission. So they just have to try to do this language-free, eye contact, scowl, pheromone-based thing in the fucking sauna. I'm not exactly sure where you have sex. If I were to meet eye contact with the guy and then maybe he would do like sign language or eye rolls or like, do you go out into one of the showers and fuck there? I don't know. All I know is if you check Craigslist misconnections, men seeking men, many of the encounters have to do with the Boston Sports Club sauna, um, which is probably not good for their brand. I mean, there are multiple signs around saying that sexual activity is banned in the sauna. Um, as it should be, honestly. I would if I had a gym with a laissez-faire sexual activity in the sauna policy, I would be a little bit upset, to say the least. I wouldn't be crazy about it. Wouldn't be happy. Nice brew. Nice brew, folks. Nice brew. I gotta clean my room. Everything's a mess. Everything's a mess. My rib's broken. I got a cold sore. They're charging me for the gym. If I get my money's worth, gay people will try to fuck me. There's nothing wrong with being gay, by the way. It's just don't bring this predatorial energy onto me. Like you're just like fucking roll over me because I'm a twink. Even if I were gay, I don't think the kind of people who try to solicit sex for me in the sauna were the kind of people I'd be interested in. I'd probably go on drinks dates or something like that. I don't think I'd do like no talking saunas. I talk way too much to not talk to any potential sexual partner. I laugh. I do talk too much. That is why I decided that I'm gonna start a podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode last week of Patrick. That was fun. Some people said that they couldn't hear him that well. That is because he refused to pick up the microphone, so he just kind of took like a tea kettle and like balanced it between the stem and the body of it, and kind of just talked. And if I were a better producer, I would be able to figure out how to fix that. But this is the best we have, folks. You heard what he was saying. And you know what I did, which I think is great? I mixed the channels. Because some people, they'll do a podcast with two people and they'll make it like one headphone is going to be the one person and one headphone's going to be the other person. That's horrible and gives people vertigo. Don't subject people to that kind of nonsense. I remember iPods. In the era of the iPod, that was a big thing to do with music. Like the bass would be in one ear and it would just be shitty. It sucked. Because some headphones were shitty and then you'd just be listening to music and only get bass. And, sometimes when you have the earbuds, it just makes your ears tickle. A weird tickle that you can't scratch. Fucking. Incels. My friend added me to this stupid Facebook group, which is all incels from India. Yeah, say that 3 times. Incels from India. Incels from India. Yeah, I guess it's not that hard. Indian incels, folks. She added me to a group where Indian incels argue because, she thought I'd be great at antagonizing them. And I am. It's very easy. All you have to do is say, have you tried having... Every time they say some crazy woman-hating take, then all you do is say, like, hey, have you tried having sex? And the idea of having sex is, like, it's weird because they want it. And they're very angry that other people are. So they invent all these crazy things in their head that like everyone who's sexually active is contributing to the blah, 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 blah. When in reality, if they took the energy that they do to do these mental gymnastics and just went out to have sex, they'd probably feel so much better. I just want what's best for people. I just want people to be happy. Mark Leo is... I just call it... I'm going to bleep that out. Mark... Meatball is, mad that the Boston Sports Club sauna is closed and he can't have closeted gay sex. And, he's going to join the incels and he's going to blow up some woman. He's going to blow up an all-woman Pilates class. It's kind of... Why do the incels kill women or random targets? Like, they hate these, like, douche bros on the golf course, finance, people, whatever, privileged fucks. Like, those are the people they hate. Like, if you killed a bunch of people in a country club, like, you'd have your movement, people would not hate your movement that much. Like, oh, hey, all these trust fund kids in a country club got shot by some nerd. It would be like, yeah, vindication. But you, like, just kill a bunch of defenseless women. It's like, first, they're not going to have sex with you now. They're dead. You just killed, you're taking away the prospects. This is the very thing you're upset about. That doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. I don't understand terrorists, I don't understand. The only terrorist I understand is Hillary Rodham Clinton. She just fucking raised Libya. There we go. That's an empowered woman when you see one. It's an empowered woman. But she will not be vice president because Joe Biden has picked Kamala Harris, the K-Hive. K-Hive sounds like a poor visceral reaction to ketamine. And the real thing is much worse. I don't know. I'm not surprised. I wrote all these notes about this, but then Tim Dillon basically made the same point in his podcast. He beat me to it, but no one's ever going to believe that I came up with something and then, after Tim Dillon has already said it, so fuck it. You have a serious. The main point is that if you're surprised, we've been talking about this was going to happen for months. They were like, no, it's going to be fucking Marlene Jamber. It's gonna be Vignesh Babu. Like, there's all these people you never even fucking heard of. That's who it's gonna be. And some people said Elizabeth Warren, but that was never gonna happen. She's too white, and she lied about being a Native American. They saw Kamala. She threw people in jail, and if you're in jail, would you rather have a job or no job? Sounds boring without a job. I'm kidding. Prison slave labor is not good. Kamala, kind of a piece of shit. She has jailed many people for marijuana. When I was in college, I got arrested for marijuana possession. Small amount, and I got suspended from school, and really just kind of fucked all my shit up. If I could go back and somehow have that not happen, I think things would have been a lot differently. So when I find out that she's not just fucking people's shit up, she's throwing them in prison, breaking up families, and using the slave labor to improve her state, I'm not crazy about it. And that's in California. Like, Texas is supposed to be worse. I'm sure Texas has a bad prison industrial complex. But yeah, fuck her. She's a slave driver. These people try to share these ridiculous shit like Kamala's great grandfather was an Irish man in Jamaica and he owned slaves. Like, Kamala owned slaves, you fucking idiot. Stop grasping at straws. There's like, these people are so fucking racist that they can't be like, slavery is bad. Like, they can't fucking publicly take a slavery is bad stance. So now, like, some of them are coming up with this contrived, she was born in a different country. She was born in this country and she had slaves. She was a pro-slavery candidate. You don't need to do mental gymnastics for this. But I don't know. I mean, it would be funny if Trump lost, just because I'd love to. He's the only person who's really developed an actual cult. Like, there's this obnoxious, like, disingenuous cult surrounding a lot of the centrist candidates. Like, people say, the K-Hive. Like, yeah, fuck you. But these Trump people are actually, like, fully devoted to, like, whatever fucking cult that they've made. They have the hats. They meet him. They will not hear anything. These other people just hate Trump. So they've created this kind of disingenuous cult of personality around people who aren't personable at all. I will say, Kamala, she has a very human quality to her compared to basically everyone else in that party. Like, if a fly landed on her face, she would probably smack it like a normal human would. Whereas Hillary Clinton just had this weird robotic stare where she was not at all encumbered by the fact that a fly landed on her face. Inhuman. So, if you set the bar very low at a woman who sounds 100% of the time like she's doing talking points and doesn't react when a bug lands on her face, if that's the bar you set, then Kamala does kind of have a human quality, She does it like a little jig. She does a little jig. Obama was human. Obama had a very personable human. He was like your brother or your dad or your friend. And that's why we let him kill all the kids in Syria. We didn't, we let him get away with it because he was very human about it. People hate Hillary for all that shit she did in Libya because, she just seems like she was a robot. Whatever. Kamala, I assume she must be a Christian because I would already be hearing, till the cows come home if she was something else, I imagine. I'm sure that there's plenty of theories about her being a Muslim or something. Wouldn't it be fun if she was something cool? That, like, what if she was a Wiccan, Wiccans, like, people get into Wicca as adults. Like, people are born something, usually Christian in the U.S., because that's what most people are, and then they decide that they hate their parents and they want to dye their hair a bunch of colors and smoke cigarettes in a school zone and be Wiccan. Get piercings and, stay away from magnets, I guess. So they become Wiccan to be edgy. It's fun. But then, and that's all good. But then when you expect me to take this religion seriously, like, First of all, I don't take any religion seriously, so this is a bad tree to bark of. But then you're like, I'm anti-establishment, man. I'm smoking cigarette, and I'm gonna cast a spell on you. And I'm like, your religion is dumb. You're not an actual witch. It's silly. And then, you only converted to this because you wanted to be edgy. I'm not fucking dignifying this thing that you're doing to just try to seem like you're fucking, oh, it's a protected class. We need the government to make more protections for Wicca. Why don't we have any Wiccan representatives in Congress, dude? No. I'm going to put a spell to make there be a Wiccan. Yeah, well, if you guys were so fucking great and your spells were so great, then you put candidates in Congress. What happened to the persuasion? What is magic even? It's fake. You're fake. Don't fucking tell me about crystals and expect me not to laugh in your face. You're an adult. Fucking crystals and spells? Are you serious? Some of these people went to college. What? Oh, wicked. I, like many kids, first learned about cults when I was at summer camp. We went to a thing called, it was weird, our school called it E-Camp, but once you got there, everyone called it Nature's Classroom. All the teachers at our school demanded that it was called E-Camp, and no one at the actual place was on board with that label. It's kind of a contention on the nomenclature there. So you go to this E-Camp, you sleep away. You are interacting with counselors all the day. These are counselors who chose a job that involves exclusively working with children. Absolutely none of them ever gave anyone the impression that they liked children, and they definitely were not good with children. But for whatever reason, they've decided that that was their career. People who very much seem to hate children and not want to be around them have chosen to work with children as their full-time job. Which I will say is an interesting choice, to say the least. Like, I don't know what they wanted to be. A hunter-gatherer? I don't know. They're fucking out in the middle of nowhere. It was in New Hampshire or Cape Cod or something. I don't know. It was in the woods. We got on a bus. We went far away. We were gone. Who knows? They did this fun thing where we would have lunch every day, and you'd have to nominate someone at your table to be waitron, which was a made-up word. It's a combination of waiter and patron, I think. And then, everyone would be, they like somehow got in your head because, it was a cult and we're kids and we're impressionable. Where it's like, I want to be the waitron and I want to pick up everyone's dishes and throw them in the dishwasher when we're done. Apparently that was a thing we wanted to do. I remember it being very contentious as to who got to be the waitron. I think it was because we falsely viewed this janitorial thing as like a position of power. And that's what cults do. They make you think you have power when you don't. And then they make you clean shit up. And they tell you it's empowering. The power of persuasion. Cults. I wonder if they have waitrons in Scientology. Maybe that's where they got it from. I don't know. I hate it when people, well, it's a cult. Is the SJWs are a cult. I'm like, yeah, I don't really sacrifice people, though. They don't do anything cool. I don't know. Trump's followers are like a legitimate cult. They have very many cult-like tendencies. There's no one actually cares enough about Joe Biden. They might make their Twitter handle, resist blue wave. We gotta save the ACA. The ACA has failed me and many people. Medicare for all would be nice. I love healthcare. I probably wouldn't be avoiding going to the doctor to get my rib checked out. Or been off antidepressants for a while, which has fucked me in all sorts of ways. I can't believe I found a go to jail. I'm going to be unemployed forever. I think I'm going to go move to California and live on a weed farm. That'd be nice. Do some manual labor, get my head together. Maybe there's one outlet so I can continue doing the podcast. And if there's not, then I guess you guys aren't going to hear from me, I'm just spitballing. Every time something bad happens, I've just had a bad day. Every single time one bad thing happens to me, I'm like, I'm going to move to California and work on a weed farm. I think that's just like a cliche thing for guys my age to do. And like, maybe I could figure it out. I don't know. I want to move to California and shower once a week and work on a weed farm. I probably already shower once a week. It's kind of a quarantine. No one really cares. No one cares. Has anyone famous been accused of sexual assault since I did my last episode? I don't even know. There's that guy from Mad TV that like I hadn't really been following, and then it's like, he was accused of sexual assault. And, okay. I believe him. I mean, I'm not really looking into this. I don't even know who this guy is, to be honest. I vaguely remember one sketch he was in a Mad TV, and I've never seen any of his other work. I'm not gonna spend much effort digging into this one. So I believe it. Maybe that's kind of how the Believe All Woman movement got started, is because at a certain point they started canceling people where you're just like, I don't care about, like, what do I lose? The guy who was on Mad TV 20 years ago, who I've never seen anything he's done? Sure, yeah, he's guilty. Fuck it, he's a rapist. I don't care. I don't lose anything. It's like, well, someone accuses you of rape, and, you set a precedent now. It's like, but the thing is, no one cares about me either. So, I kind of understand why people would, just be like, all right, he's guilty of rape. He's a white man. Shut him off. Send me to prison. Just send me to one of Kamala Harris's prisons so I can learn a new skill, like how to build license plates. That's all I ask. I know whenever someone's like surprised that there's been an accusation of sexual assault or something like that, they say, if you're surprised that there's a celebrity, just wait till you hear about your own friend group. I hate it. It's like comics will say this on Twitter, and it's like, you should know that's not even an original line. Wait till you hear about your own friend group. It's also like, if I'm friends with a person who is a sexual deviant, and, perhaps I am biased if I've known someone for a long time that I'm close friends with who happens to be, raping people, maybe you could do me a quick solid, and just tell me who it is. You're fucking making me a mystery over here. Hey, just so you know, someone in your, like, what, is this like a fucking murder mystery dinner party where you all sit around the table and then she comes in reading a cue card where she's like, one of the people at this table is a convicted sex offender, and it's up to you to figure out who it is before midnight. What the? Come on. Don't be stupid. No, I know. It's, just, if one of my friends is a rapist, just send me a DM. Tell me this guy raped that guy. Oh yeah, someone in the local comedy scene got called out for not rape, but making some inappropriate gestures towards women who were also in the local comedy scene. There were some comments. And this one guy somehow came in and decided to derail the conversation to be like, that's so bad. He's also doing shows and he shouldn't be because it's a quarantine. That's ignorant. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well that really puts the fucking sexual misconduct in perspective, that he wants to fucking do 5 minutes in Tony's backyard. Yeah, those are crimes of equally heinous crimes. Fucking cornering women in a parking lot and telling them they should wear a skirt on stage because he has a leg fetish, and fucking going to do a drive-through theater and yelling at people who honk their horns in the car. Equally bad. I'm glad we got to the bottom of this. I don't know, some people just want to grandstand on there. People get so toxic. I think comedy's really bad too, because now we're in the situation where, for a while there was no spots, so we were on a level playing field and it sucked. But now some shows are starting to come back. We have a couple of drive-through shows, a couple of outdoor shows, yada, yada, yada. So there are now spots, but there's less spots than there ever have been. So people are fucking bitter. People are bitter and jealous. Someone's getting on stage. I know there's one girl accused a guy of racism because she's been doing comedy for about 8 months. And when she asked to be on a show, he said no. She happened to be a black person. So then she went on his public page, called him out. Racism! I'm not funny, and I've only been doing this for about 8 months, and for some reason I thought I should be high enough in the pecking order to get on the show, and the reason I have not is because of racism. That's not even how she sounds. I don't know why I'm doing that voice a lot this episode. I've probably done it a lot in other episodes, too. We're late. This might not be the best. This is probably better than the one I did 2 weeks ago, where I, ran out of shit to say and just talked like Joe Biden for a while. But, guys, I'm running out of shit to say, so we might end up doing about 20 minutes of Biden material. Who fucking knows? Who knows? A dating book. That I already said. People were mad at Wicca. I told the story about the goon with the electric car. Listen to this podcast about dating, and we'll help you be honest with yourself. I take that back. Earlier I said the girl should spit on the guy. I think it It would be better. I've heard another similar story, actually, where the guy gave a girl a book, which is probably worse than a podcast, because a podcast is like maximum 2 hours, I think. I mean, imagine how fucking bad a podcast on dating. Like, the kind of fucking uninteresting person that decides that dating is like a thing that they want to take a deep dive into. They're like, we need to communicate your love language. You should all take the love language quiz and, pay attention. If she says that she likes, artsy movies, maybe you should go to an artsy movie theater. You should look for someone, that has career goals that align with what you want. If they want to be career-oriented until they're in their 30s and you want to have kids, then maybe you can't do it. Are there those people who, like, really just demystify everything and take any sort of concept of romance? Like, what you need to do is go on these apps and you need to fucking optimize. They wouldn't say fucking because they're like pussy. They're not even interesting enough to curse casually. What you need to go is go on these apps and you need to line things up. You need to optimize your app experience. You need to have every app on your phone, and you should put on your Outlook calendar a day a reminder to go on everything. Do not mince conversation. Do not try to engage in playful banter. Simply set up drinks and dinner. You could be going on a date Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can optimize your dating experience. Optimize it. Why don't you fucking optimize it? What? You want to fall in love? What are you, a child? Fuck you! Optimize it! Run it through an algorithm! Make it better! Make it smaller! That was fun. Okay, my neighbors are probably gonna get concerned because I'm screaming now. Optimize it! Optimize your dating! Your dating should have synergy. It should be streamed. D-R-Y, don't repeat yourself. Date from the top down. Trickle down dating. Take her to a place where the bartender knows you. So then you look cool. I don't know. Is that even what is a woman? Like, I feel like maybe that just makes you look like an alcoholic. I don't know. One time someone gave me the tip where they were like, I'm a comic and there's a lot of small shows in town. And they said, you should take your date to... This is like not a guy who had a very successful dating life either, so I'm not sure why he thought that he could like deliver these takes with confidence. But you should take your date to a show that you're not booked on. It'll be fun, and then you'll look cool afterwards when she realizes that you know all the performers. I feel like that's a really uncomfortable situation for the girl. Am I mistaken? That I'm taking her to a place where I know everyone and she doesn't, and there's this like weird inverted power dynamic? Not a great first date idea, in my opinion. Not great. Not a fan of it. And the Democratic and National Convention third night is underway with Barack Obama and Senator Kamala Harris. The K-Hive! Buzz. Buzz. I think the K-Hive is like just a fucking maximum security prison where people are fucking chopping away at rocks. Try to get some cubic zirconium or something to get the iPhone. I don't know. What is a cubic zirconium? It's like a fake jewel, isn't it? I don't know anything about jewelry. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, and I thought I would have time, but then there was a pandemic. Thanks a lot, China. Taking a puff of weed. One good thing is that I bought a new bowl because the one I had sucked, and also I lost it. So even if it didn't suck, I would have had to buy a new one. Oh, and it's just so much better. It hits so much smoother. I can just sit and casually puff, puff, puff. I know doing marijuana as a drug is probably not going to help my situation that much, but when you have no health insurance, you have to get creative. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette after this too, which I shouldn't be doing. It's already hard enough to breathe with a broken rib. It's probably not broken. I'm going down to Cape Cod tomorrow, and I'm going to see my mom, and she's a nurse, and, I'm kind of just going to spray it on her. Because if I tell her now, she's going to be like, you got to go to urgent care. And I don't want to do that because I don't have health insurance. And yeah, I mean, she's going to give me a lot of shit about not having health insurance because she's been doing that for basically the entire time I haven't had it. But, I'll get some free medical care from her. She'll just poke me in the side and be like, I don't think it's broken. And then I'll be like, oh, thank God. Someone told me if I can lift my arm above my head, then it's not broken. And someone else told me if it's difficult to breathe at all, it might be broken. So I'm going to go with the guy that said the thing that is most convenient to me, where I can lift my arm above my head and therefore probably not broken. He also said I wouldn't swear by this advice, and I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and swear by the advice because, again, no health insurance. It's really great, the system we have in this country for, people with flag football. Really, just my luck. Flag football, the kind of football that's not supposed to involve injuries. It happens. It happens. And I wonder what would have happened if we actually successfully made it to that mountain the other day and I actually attempted to climb it with such the injuries that I have. We'll never find out. We'll never find out, folks. One thing we will find out, though, is that Bill Clinton is a rapist. He is. It's very interesting that they let him, I guess they just really don't care about how they look to most people now. It's like, yeah, let's let a rapist speak, and, AOC, she's popular. Let's give her 60 seconds. I don't know. These people are all goons anyway. It's hard to keep up with. I don't know why I'm even going to try to get into the subject of politics. I love this. Michelle Obama. I want Michelle Obama to be president. Sure. Why not? She's a lawyer, just like Barack Obama. I don't want Michelle Obama to be president because she contributed such a horrible thing to the healthcare system in this country in the form of healthcare.gov, an embarrassing failure. When she's actually leading the policy forefront in that regard, I am worried. All she had to do was hire a contractor who knew what they were doing, of which you could find. She went to college with some fucking, meth head who owned a firm, maybe not a meth head, probably more classy, cocaine addict, and he built a shitty website that millions of people were supposed to use. And in this day and age, it's actually pretty easy to tell whether or not a website is going to withstand a load of 1 million people at once. This is a very, very easy thing to test for. In the grand scheme of things. This guy must have just been on so much coke, he was like, it doesn't matter the load! My shitty website won't take it! Because that's just that's the only explanation I have. A coke addict assuming that it's gonna work because he was friends with Michelle Obama. Can you imagine what kind of nuts she'll hire when she actually needs to implement a healthcare system? Not just a website, but the actual policies itself? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that Joe Biden is the sexiest candidate for president. No, I'm kidding. Oh, I remember it used to be such a cool thing with my sister and her weird corporate female friends to be like, Joe Biden is so hot. I love old Joe Biden. Because they do this thing where they fetishize people that they like even though they're horrible. Bill Clinton too. She probably still thinks Bill Clinton is attractive even though he's a rapist. Rapist pedophile, actually. There's photos of him getting a massage from a 16-year-old girl. Wonder what kind of things weren't photographed. I don't know. Kind of like with the old Biden thing. There's videos of him, grabbing little girls by the nipples. I wonder if there's anything that happened not on video. It's just, if he's willing to do it on camera, it's not a good look for what he could possibly be doing off camera. So it's a misunderstanding. That's how he greets people. That's how he does his love. That's how he does it. Joe, be honest with yourself and all the people defending him. Be honest with yourselves. I'm trying to be honest with myself. I should probably go back on Mass Health. I can't really afford it, but I probably should so I can go back on antidepressants and maybe get my life together. I'm trying to be honest with myself, and I'll think about improving my life. But for the time being, I think you should just be honest with yourself because, not everything is about me, and a lot of this is about you. What is it you're lying to yourself about, huh? To a certain extent, it's good. You convince yourself you have a shot with that girl when you don't, and then, you get the confidence, and then you end up, you do it anyway. Or you convince yourself that you can get that job even though you can't, and you got the confidence, you do it anyway. But sometimes it gets to be a bit much. Sometimes you're lying to yourself. That's when it gets bad. When you've proven time and time again that you can't do something, but you're still making that lie. So maybe I will just move to California and work on a wheat farm. I don't know. It would be fun. I also don't even like weed that much, so it would be kind of like an off-brand. Like, I find people who are like really, really into weed, and they're like, this is this strain, this is... As soon as you say strain, I'm like, I'm out. Peace and shut up about the strain. I just want to take a puff. Just want to have a brew. So maybe I wouldn't fit in with the people who work on a weed farm. I barely fit in with the people who played flag football with me, and I still got injured. My body is not as great as I thought it was. Couple of hours of sprinting and, one concussive wound to the chest. But I guess I gotta be honest with myself. Maybe I'm not cut out to play flag football. Maybe I'm probably never gonna clean this apartment the way I say I should just, spring the little money I have for someone to clean it. There's chicken thawing on my counter right now. Am I actually gonna cook that chicken, or am I just gonna let it go bad? I'm going to be honest with myself. I should probably just throw the chicken right in the trash or give it to the poor. You can't really just give... It's 9:35 p.m. right now. I don't think I can just go to a homeless shelter and give them uncooked chicken. I don't think that's how it works. I keep saying I'm going to quit smoking. I keep saying I'm going to quit drinking. Is it really a good idea to try those in the most stressful time of my life? Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest. Am I really going to leave Boston? Will I actually be able to make it out of this dump? That one I think I can do. I mean, I could just kind of, go off the grid and. Again, now I'm making up lies. I could go off the grid. I could live off the grid. No, I need like a real plan. I need to be honest with myself. We need to be realistic. Can't get anything done outside the realms of realism, folks. This is why Bernie Sanders lost. No one was honest with themselves. This is also why Joe Biden will lose also, because no one is honest with themselves. They think they keep... There's just an overwhelming number of people that say, I saw his speech today and I was inspired by it. No, you weren't. It is acceptable to say that you want Joe Biden to be president because you hate Trump and you want Trump to not be president. It is not acceptable to say that you find Joe Biden or Kamala Harris inspiring. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest. You can, gladly pretend that you don't know the things that you know, that everyone knows. About the hair sniffing and the crime bills and the rape allegations and the slave-driving prison system and the laughing about all the families you've destroyed because of marijuana and creating laws that specifically target parents, single parents for truancy. Underprivileged communities, creating those laws just to fuck with people. Because you're rich, why do you give a fuck about poor people, She's honest with herself. She laughs about it. She knows she doesn't give a fuck. She was back then. Now she's like changing her tune and we're gonna create a great America for black Americans like half of me. No, you're not. You turn your back on them a while. So see, now she's not being honest with herself, but she's a politician. So you kind of have to expect her to lie and do the work yourself in that regard. You believing her, you're the one who's being a piece of shit. I'm much more mad at you than I am at her. So, be honest with yourself. Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot. Stop lying. My mom thinks that fucking Trump was on Epstein's island. And I bring up that Clinton was on Epstein's island. She's like, no, he wasn't. Trump was. I was like, well, what witnesses have claimed that, Trump was on his island? There's photos of Bill Clinton and there's evidence that he was in the flight log 26 times. He's like, no, he wasn't. He's like, be honest with yourself. You didn't fucking even Google it. You just hate Trump and you want him to be on Epstein's island. And for some reason, you still like Bill Clinton. Like, I don't know. It's a weird straw to be grasped. I don't even understand that generation. They don't want to let go of shit that I guess maybe once I get older, I'll understand. I won't want to let go of shit that I've cared about for decades. But the Clinton is a weird hill to die on because they're old as shit. The wife, huge disappointment. She ran for president, lost. She had a layup line. She fucked it up. Disappointment. Kamala also. She was a horrible person, slave driver. She ran for president. She got 0 votes. She dropped out before the first primary. 0 votes, folks. And now we're acting like she's something to fucking shake a stick at. Be honest with yourself. She's not. Let's quit fucking around, guys. Let's quit fucking around. I'm gonna clap up the podcast. I'm gonna ribbity wrap the podcast. I might hit the liquor store tonight. I'm not gonna stop drinking anytime soon. I'm probably not gonna stop smoking, and I'm gonna smoke a nice cigarette. I'm gonna go on my porch and I'm gonna have a cigarette, and I'm gonna think about how fucked everything is right now. You know why? Because I'm being honest with myself. Good night, folks.